Let's get serious. Habaki!
What is going on, everybody? NutSliverXYX here, and I wanted to make a video discussing my final thoughts on the Destiny 2 beta. There's gonna be some Destiny 1 gameplay in the background because I can't be fucked to play the beta. I couldn't be fucked to play the beta when it was out anymore. Besides what I already played of it. If you haven't already seen my beta gameplay, it's on the channel. I'll link it in the description below. But I'm not impressed with Destiny 2 right now. I mean, the more Bungie shows, the less excited I get. Let's go back to Destiny 1 for a second and talk about Destiny 1, and then we'll talk about the beta, and then we'll talk about my thoughts going into Destiny 2 and how that might play out. So Destiny 1, if you've already seen my Let's Play of Destiny 1, which I would watch if you haven't already seen it also, I was very critical of the game when it came out originally. I have always hated the story. I've pretty much always hated most of the strikes because they've been boring experiences that offer nothing rewarding. The only thing that has kept me in Destiny up to this point has been, number one, the raids, because the raids are, in my opinion, the greatest gaming experiences of all time. The raids are possibly my favorite thing I've ever played in a first-person shooter, ever. And the community is probably the greatest community I've ever had the joy of knowing. You know, people like King Cathalion and Professor Broman and Laced Up Lauren are just rock stars, and they're really, them and all my Destiny friends that I've met over the years are the reason that I keep playing the game. That's Destiny 1, and then Destiny 2 decides to come out, and they've made every possible mistake that they could ever make. The beta itself was not terrible for a beta. To be fair, it's not like it didn't have enough content. It was a beta. You know, it had one story mission, which was a pretty cool story mission, to be fair, compared to Destiny 1, but again, you're comparing it to Destiny 1, the game that had no story at all. The Strike, which was basically the same Strike experience we had in Destiny 1, which was pretty boring and repetitive. It had a lot of padding, like several minutes of just kind of running through nothingness, just for no reason. And then the boss was just a big bullet sponge at the end. So the Strike experience hasn't changed, besides a few gimmicks that the boss does, but that was added in Taken King. Like, you gotta add better gimmicks than that, buddy. I thought the coolest things that they've ever added in the Strikes was things like the Vault of Glass mechanics into the Nexus Mine in Destiny 1. Which, to be fair, were raid mechanics that were already in the game, but still, they were different and, you know, trying to teach people how to do the raid. And I thought that's what always Strikes were supposed to be, was these are the ways we're going to teach you how to do the raid, so that when you get into the raid, you're not going to be completely, you know, blind to it. But I guess that might not be what they're going for. I don't know. But the Strike did not impress me at all. And the PvP is what I've always thought about the PvP. We're going to be talking about the PvP in Destiny 2 quite a bit. But the PvP has been, and will continue to be, one of the worst gaming experiences of all time, in my opinion. Destiny's PvP is easily one of the worst PvP experiences ever in a shooter game of all time. The time to kill is so high, it is impossible to do anything, and it's frustrating to play. The new social space is cool. It's cool. It's no tower, but it's cool, I guess. But let's go through the beta and talk about specific things. We'll start with the story mode, and the story mode for me has been an absolute shit show. I have not liked it at all. And here's why. Because it has so many plot holes and inconsistencies in the first mission, which is supposed to be their best mission. It has so many plot holes and inconsistencies that I just don't understand why have it at all. You're going to remove the Grimoire. They're removing the Grimoire. Any lore from the first game, gone. It's gone. It's just not existent anymore. It's just not existent. They've already said that Destiny 1 is basically the comic book 0 edition, and Destiny 2 is where the story really begins. So anything you did over the last 3 years, gone. You just wasted your time. Like, you just wasted the last 3 years of your life. You know, what happened with Crota's sisters doesn't matter. What happened with, or not Crota, Oryx, I'm sorry. What happened with Oryx's sisters doesn't matter. You know, they're totally not out in space wondering what happened to their brother at all. Whatever happened to Eris Morn, we don't know yet. To be fair, we did see her urn, so we know she's off fighting the Hive somewhere. They said so at the end of Destiny 1. So she might come back. I don't know. Like, why are the Vanguard just not giving a shit about the fact that there's something in dark space? Every single time that there's been something in dark space coming to kick your ass, it's been bad. Like, the first time, it was the Darkness and the Vex coming to kick your ass from dark space. The second time, it was fucking Crota on the moon. And then the third time, it was all of the bullshit in the Reef coming to kick your ass. The fourth time, it was Oryx and his Taken coming from dark space to come kick your ass. Let's see, a giant something is in dark space. We might want to fucking put the tower on high alert. Nope, nobody cares. Nobody seems to notice the fact that there's a giant Cabal army. Oh, and all the Guardians from the start of the solar system to Earth, none of the Guardians out on patrol anywhere noticed the giant invading Cabal army. You're expecting me to believe that the giant Cabal army somehow figured out a way to get from where they were coming from to Earth without getting detected by literally anyone. That's something that's either going to need to be told to us somehow, or it's going to need to be, or it's just a giant plot hole. Because it doesn't make any sense to me. The story, you know, they're taking over the Traveler. Like, I get why they need to do what they need to do, because, you know, you got to get rid of your Destiny 1 gear because it's not going to carry over, because Bungie can't do that, I guess, because that would be too much effort, question mark. I mean, I get the direction they're going, to be fair. They need to, you know, they need to start over again, which is fine. So they need to have our Guardian lose their powers, and they need to go to the farm and find the Shard of the Traveler to gain new powers. But the new powers are garbage. The new subclasses are terrible. Let's move into the subclasses here. The subclasses are abysmal. Because in Destiny 1, you have a subclass tree with multiple different layers of perks that you can choose, and multiple different things that you can use to customize your subclass. In Destiny 2, you have subclass A and subclass B, and then you get to pick your grenades and your little dash doge, or your shield, or your rift. And that's it. That's your entire subclass customization. Do you want this one or that one? There's two options, because Bungie actually thinks that you're too stupid to make your own subclass. Don't believe me? They said in an interview that Luke Smith thought that one of his developers was making their class wrong, so we need to streamline it, because you're too stupid to make your own subclass. I'm sorry, but I should be able to make whatever stupid build I want because I'm the player, and that's the whole point of a subclass customization. I should be able to customize my character and the way that I play however I want. If I want to run the 6-shot golden gun with the precision damage on the golden gun, I should be able to do that. Why can't I do that? You're taking away customization from the player. That's a bad thing. You're removing features and customization from the player. You're literally removing things from the player. You're going a step backwards from Destiny 1. Destiny 1 has more customization with the subclass than Destiny 2 does, because they think you're too stupid to make your own subclass. They want you to use the optimal build because of reasons. I don't understand it, and I think it's one of the stupidest decisions that they've made with Destiny 2, is the complete gutting of the subclasses. Another story plot hole, which ties into the subclasses, is the fact that it may just be for the beta, but it felt a little jarring to have the new subclasses at the beginning of the first story mission in the story. Now, that may not happen in the full game, I don't know. But if we do have our new subclasses in the beginning of the new game, then what's the point of them? Because the only way that they could rectify this is if the Titans only get Striker at the beginning of the game. The Warlocks only get Voidwalker at the beginning of the game, and the Hunters only get Gunslinger at the beginning of the game. But then what happened to Blade Dancer? What happened to Sunsinger? What happened to Hammer Titan? What happened to Defender? What happened to Night Stalker? What happened to all these subclasses? Where are they? Is that ever going to be explained? Like, there's entire bits of lore that are now gone because they've removed the Grimoire. There's entire bits of lore that are gone because about the Hammer Titans and them living on Mercury and all of that shit that's just not existent anymore. Where's the Hammer Titans? What about that? What about the Sunsingers? The Sunsingers being able to resurrect themselves from death is one of the most important parts of Destiny lore for the Sunsingers. But they can't do that anymore. They're not even Sunsingers anymore. They're Dawnblades. Like, how you gotta either explain this to me again. You gotta either explain this to me, or just not explain this to me. Speaking of explaining shit to me, whatever happened with the Exo Stranger? Oh, they said that that story was wrapped up really well. Are you kidding me? The Exo Stranger was wrapped up really well? Really? The Exo Stranger? The one character at the end of Destiny 1 that I was like, what happened with her? Who was she talking to on Venus? What about anything with the Exo Stranger? Guess we're never going to get an answer to that, because that story was wrapped up really well according to Bungie. I guess so. I guess nobody in the Destiny community agrees with you, but I guess so. Anyway, going back to gameplay. I want to move slightly into PvP. Well, let's talk about the Strike. The Strike, as I've already said, is pretty much the same thing as the Destiny 1 strikes. They're just boring things that you do to get loot to gear up for the raid. I mean, and that's kind of what Destiny 1 always was. You start the game to gear up for the raid, and then you do the raid. Like, that's it. That's all you do. And Destiny 2 feels the same way. You do this story. There's not really that much there. You do the strikes as fast as you can, and you grind out as many as you can to get enough good gear to do the raid every week. And that's all you do every week, is you do the raid. Because that's how I played Destiny 1, and that's how I feel like Destiny 2 is going to go. But the strike was just not fun. And it mainly comes from a problem that I'm going to explain when I get to PvP, but that is the removal of the special weapon. I think that, and one other issue that I will talk about in a minute, are the most game-breaking things for Destiny 2, for me personally. The two biggest cardinal sins, which I will talk about at the end of the video after I talk about PvP, is the removal of the special weapon slot and the fact that you're a silent protagonist. And I'll explain why after I talk about PvP. But let's talk about PvP now. The PvP was fucking boring and unbelievably frustrating. They don't know who they're catering to here. They're trying to make so many changes that affect both PvE and PvP because they can't separate them. I don't know why. They can't nerf and buff and balance PvE and PvP separately. It's so easy to do. But I guess they just can't do it because difficulty. Game development is hard, I guess. Um, the PvP was ridiculous. It was so boring. 4 versus 4 for every game mode. Why? Why 4 versus 4? So that you can make it more tactical. I don't want tactical. I want chaos. That's why I play Call of Duty. That's why I play Battlefield. Battlefield is 64 v 64. Fucking ridiculously huge shit. Grand scale. You're literally going from a 6 versus 6, which is what Destiny was in the past, and what Call of Duty is going with. And Call of Duty World War II is having even more players on their fucking teams, and they're doing it in a better way. Destiny is going in the opposite direction to make it more tactical for the team shotting, because they want it to be more MLG, basically. They want to go into the smoke all weed every day kind of game where they have tournaments and they have teams, and people like Triple Rec get all kinds of money for Destiny. And no disrespect to Triple Rec, he's a great guy. Love him. Love you, Triple Rec. But I'm just using an example. It's like they're going out of their way to make this MLG super hyper competitive PvP that only a specific minority of the gaming community wants for the entire game, and every piece of the game suffers more for it. The 4v4 game modes are boring. The time to kill is ridiculously long in PvP. The super cooldowns are unbelievable. You might get one super a game. You fucking might get one super a game. You might, if you're lucky. The grenade cooldowns are like a minute and a half, and there's nothing you can do to increase them. Maybe with armor perks. Again, we'll have to see when the full game comes out, but in the beta, felt ridiculously slow. The melee cooldown was ridiculously slow. I had to use my dodge on the setting I didn't want it on the setting that reloaded my melee, just so I could get it back within a reasonable amount of time. And to be fair, in PvE, they did say that they're going to tweak the super gain timers and the ability cooldowns. To be fair, I hope they do, because it felt annoying in PvP to only get your golden gun like twice in a strike. It was ridiculous. But the same problem happens in PvP. But it doesn't matter because none of your abilities do anything. Melees are 3-hit kills. I don't think I've ever played a shooter where melees are 3-hit kills. I've never played a shooter where melees are that slow to kill. Shoulder charge, not even an instant kill. It won't even take down their shields. Team shotting is just the way to go. Like, you have to do primary gunfights in everything, and I think that's ridiculous. I think that's the stupidest shit ever. It rewards gun skill, but it also rewards team play. If you're a solo player like me, good luck playing PvP. You're not going to have any fun. You're not going to have any fun, because you're never going to get team shots, and you're never going to get kills, because the other team is probably going to be in a group, and they're probably going to kick your ass 9 times out of 10. It's frustrating, it's boring, and I wish it would go away. There's no rumble, because fuck solo players, right? Fuck us being able to play free-for-all. Fuck that, right? Fuck being able to have fun in a free-for-all environment. There's no actual game mode selection. Fun fact for the PvP. There's a ranked and non-ranked. It's like Overwatch. Which, to be fair, Overwatch does it correctly because Overwatch's game modes are so similar. You got your payload, you got your capture the flag, or not capture the flag, you get your, well, whatever. You got your payload, you got your capture the point, you got your king of the hill. But they're all very similar. You go into a team fight, you win the team fight, you get the objective, you move the objective, you take the objective, and you fight for the objective. That's the basic premise of Overwatch, no matter what game mode you're playing. But you can't put all the game modes into the same playlist in Destiny. They're so different. You've got your team. I don't know what they're actually called in Destiny. Slayer? It's not Slayer. That's Halo. I don't know what it's called. Team Deathmatch. You got your Team Deathmatch. You used to have your free-for-all, but that's gone now. You have your Domination, which has been oversimplified. Both home flags are just capped immediately, so fuck getting extra fucking points off the start from capping those flags. That doesn't happen anymore. You know, fuck any strategy with that. Being able to, you know, go after B first and have some of your team take A and then maybe take both flags at the start. No, everybody just goes to B immediately. I don't even know what other game modes there are. I know there's like a search and destroy game mode and the ranked mode, and then there's a ranked mode. So basically they've got all their non-ranked game modes in one playlist that you go and play. So if you want to just play Team Deathmatch, do you want to just play Team Deathmatch? Too bad. You don't get to. You have to play all of the game modes because Bungie said so. Because you're too stupid to pick your own game modes, I guess. And then there's a ranked mode where you play all of the ranked modes. But there's no ranking system in the game at launch. What? You're going to make all these changes? Like removing the special weapon for PvP and then put no ranked mode in at launch? What? What is wrong with you? I don't understand that. I don't know. I didn't like the PvP. It felt annoying and jarring and ridiculous, and you know, Trials is gonna be 4v4. So I never liked Trials in Destiny 1 because I thought it was way too sweaty and way too try-hardy, which is the point. I don't like that, but that's the point. I didn't like the Destiny 2 PvP. But let's talk about the two elephants in the room, and then I'll go ahead and end the video. And with all of the things I thought that were positive, it has been a pretty negative video because, unfortunately, I am not really that excited for Destiny 2 after the beta and after whatever Bungie has been saying recently with everything that's been coming out from Bungie recently. But number one is the special weapons. This was done for PvP. It's a pure PvP change that has nerfed and gutted PvE, which is the only part of the game that I play. And it frustrates me that a part of the game that I don't touch, except for getting exotic quests done, like the Chaperone from Destiny 1, which is required in PvP. By the way, Bungie, please fucking don't. Please don't do that. Please don't make me go into PvP for exotic quests. You know, there's been plenty of games where you can do it one way or the other. Like Mass Effect, you can do the entire achievement list without stepping foot in PvP, or you can do it with PvP if you want to. You have options. I don't expect that from them, but whatever. The removal of the special weapon is quite possibly one of the most game-breaking things that has ever happened in Destiny. The bosses are so bullet spongy in Destiny 2. They're even more bullet spongy in Destiny 1. Because in Destiny 1, if you're DPSing a boss, right, the first thing you do is pull out either your rocket launcher. Let's take a strike boss, for example. Let's take Valistaric. If I'm rolling up on Valistaric, I have a scout rifle, I have a sniper rifle, and I have a rocket launcher. I DPS the boss with all the rockets I currently have, which is probably not very many because I probably used them on the tank beforehand, but whatever. I DPS Valistaric with the rocket launcher beforehand, and then, you know what? I pull out my sniper rifle, and I DPS Valistaric with my sniper rifle, which is a middle ground between a primary and a heavy, because that's what it's supposed to be. That's what a sniper rifle, a shotgun, and a fusion rifle are supposed to be. Middle grounds between primaries and heavies. They're not meant to be heavies. Sniper rifle is not equivalent to Gjallarhorn. To be fair, some of them have been. I'm looking at you, Black Hammer. But shotguns are not equivalent to Gjallarhorn. Just if you disagree with this notion, just think through it logically in your head. Queenbreaker's bow is not equivalent to Gjallarhorn. Felwinter's Lie in PvE is not equivalent to Gjallarhorn. Any special weapon, insert special weapon name here, is not equivalent to Gjallarhorn. So why are they in the same class in Destiny 2? Because they are. You have essentially, what you have done, is you have removed sniper rifles, shotguns, fusion rifles from the game entirely. You've removed them from the game. they're gone. Now, in the beta, power weapon ammo just straight up didn't drop. I probably got like 1 brick a strike. It was ridiculous. And to be fair, they said in an interview, not an interview, but in the weekly update, that they would be tweaking that. So, good on them. But that really doesn't matter. Because, again, sniper rifles, shotguns, and fusion rifles are irrelevant. Because now they have to compete with rocket launchers. And they have to compete with grenade launchers. I don't think they have to compete with machine guns, because I haven't seen a machine gun in anything that Destiny 2 has had to offer. It wasn't in the beta. They weren't in... they weren't in the beta. They weren't in the... They weren't in the beta, and they weren't in the any of the promotional material. I haven't seen any machine guns at all. But everybody's gonna be running a rocket launcher. It's just gonna happen. Like, that's just how things work now. I can't even imagine raid encounters at all, because some raid encounters in Destiny 1 are almost impossible without shotguns. You try and beat you try and beat what's the boss's name? Vosik. You try and beat Vosik when those captains come down, right? You try and beat Vosik with no shotgun, just a rocket launcher and 2 primary weapons. You try to beat Vosik with that. You're not going to. I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're really not going to. Unless you have a ridiculous amount of DPS with possibly Outbreak Prime, you're not going to kill the boss. And you're not going to kill the captains, because the captains are going to bum rush you and shoot you twice, and you're going to die. Because you know what you use to deal with majors like that? Shotguns. You know what you'd use to deal with boss DPS? Like Axis, if there are no major threats that you need special weapons for? Sniper rifles. Special weapons are for dealing with specific threats in PvE. But we can't do that anymore, because now it's your energy slot. Because we need 2 primaries. Because the exotic weapon system that they came up with in Destiny 1, where we had our elemental exotics, was too hard for them to figure out. Because why? I don't understand. Again, it's a PvP change because special weapons were overpowered in PvP, which, to be fair, they probably were. I don't know the intricacies of that. I didn't play enough PvP in Destiny 1 to really know. All I know is that shotguns were annoying in PvP, sniper rifles were annoying in PvP, and fusion rifles at the beginning of the game were annoying in PvP. I don't know how sidearms fared at all. But I severely hope that it doesn't ruin the game for me, because it very well might. It very well might ruin the raid experience, and it very well might ruin the strike experience, because there's just not enough DPS being thrown around in the PvE environment. You know, if I can't kill a major because I only have 2 primaries and no heavy because my heavy's a rocket launcher DPS boss, then we're gonna have problems. Like, if my only 2 primary weapons are primary weapons, I can't kill a major. I can't kill a captain rushing at me. I can't kill a hive knight rushing at me with a sword. Am I supposed to be able to kill a hive knight rushing at me with a sword? With a scout rifle? Instead of a shotgun? Am I supposed to be able to do that? I guess so. We'll have to wait and see, but boy, it's not a great change, and I hope when the game comes out that we got enough DPS to deal with bosses and majors and threats that are immediate threats to us. I really hope that doesn't break the game. I really, really, really hope that doesn't break the game. It might, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. The other huge, huge issue I've had with Destiny 2 is the silent protagonist thing. And it's been a thing ever since Dark Below. Your character did talk in Destiny 1 in vanilla. And I thought my character's voice actor was pretty great. But ever since Dark Below, they decided we need a silent protagonist, and they've done it in the worst possible way, because it's the greatest cardinal sin in the entire game, and it may be game-breaking to the entire story of the game, for me personally. And that is the fact that your character is voiced by your ghost. Don't believe me? Every single time you get asked about something, in-game, in cutscenes, in everything, your character does not respond, your ghost responds. Meaning, you are not the main character of Destiny 2. You're not. Your ghost is the main character of Destiny 2. Your ghost does everything. Your ghost answers to Zavala. Your ghost answers to Cayde. Your ghost answers to Ikora. When Ikora says something to you, your ghost answers for you because they've decided you need to be a silent protagonist. For what reason? I don't know, and I really don't care. I think it's stupid, I think it's ridiculous, and I think you need to be engaging the player rather than removing the player from the story entirely. My friends have said that they like the silent protagonist, which, to be fair, the silent protagonist approach can work. It works in games like Zelda. It works in games like Skyrim. It works in games like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. But in those games, those characters are actually characters. They're actually interacting with the world around them. My guardian is not interacting with the world around me. My ghost is acting, um, interacting with the world around him. And my guardian is just simply a zombie puppet doing the will of the Vanguard. That's all I've ever felt like I've ever done since Dark Below. That's all I've ever felt like I've ever done in Destiny, is I've been a puppet for the Vanguard. I've been a puppet for Eris Morn. I've been a puppet for the Traveler. I've been a puppet for Cayde 6. I've been a puppet for the Iron Lords and I don't even remember the guy's name. Lord Salad Bar. I've never felt like the main character. I've always felt like a side character to the Ghost, because I never actually have had a character. You've got to give your character a character. You can't just have them be this silent protagonist that doesn't do or say anything at all. You've got to give us choices. Games that have done this well have been, again, Fallout 4, which, to be fair, has a voice protagonist. But if you want to go with the silent protagonist route, because a lot of my friends have told me they want to project their own voice onto the character. So what you should do is you should go with the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic route. And you don't voice the character, because in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 and 1, your character isn't voiced by anybody. So you don't have your character be voiced, so that way the players can put their own voice on what your character is saying, but you give your character options to respond in conversation. That way, you at least feel like you're a part of what's going on. You're not just being talked to by everybody and just doing what they want. I'm not the main character of Destiny 2, because I'm not actually conversing with anyone. They're conversing with my ghost, and then my ghost is saying, "Alright, slave, do what I say." That's how I felt all of Destiny. And it sucks, and I hate it, and I think it's ridiculous, and it may possibly be game-breaking to the story, in my opinion. There's so many other ways that you can do it. You can go with a voice protagonist like Mass Effect. You can go with a voice protagonist like you did in Halo. You can go with a voice protagonist like you did in Halo Reach. You can go with a voice protagonist like you did in Destiny 1. You can go with a silent protagonist like Skyrim has done. But at least make me a part of the story. Don't make it so that Ghost answers for everything. Every time. It's ridiculous, and I think it's frustrating. I don't like it. And we know that your Guardian's not going to talk in the game when it launches, so that problem's never going to be resolved. And I hope it doesn't break the game, I really do. But I'm not keeping my hopes up. We'll just have to see when the game comes out, how game-breaking that problem is. It just feels jarring in cutscenes to just see my character like, you should be talking, but you're not. And there's so many ways they could fix it, and who knows? Maybe they've been known to patch shit like that in the future. You know, the whole thing with Peter Dinklage being cut from the game and being replaced with Nolan North. They can replace lines of dialogue. They can fix things in the game, but I don't know. They're gonna have to find actors. They're gonna have to actually do their job and find voice actors. I saw My Name is Bife made a great video on this specific topic, on the voice acting, and he said, well, they've had to find voice actors for, you know, the male and female exo, human, and warlock, and awoken warlock and awoken for every language and everything. And it's like, yeah, but that's part of your job as a game developer. To make a great game, you need to go out and actually find people to do voice work. That's a part of game development, and if you can't do that, then you're not doing your job adequately, in my opinion. If you can't find voice actors for your characters, you're not doing your job adequately. Bungie's not doing their job adequately, and I don't know. I'm not impressed with the beta, and I'm not impressed with Destiny 2. But this will be the last Destiny 2 video I make before the game comes out, which I will be doing a Let's Play on my channel. But let's think about the positives, and they're not really that many. The only real positives I can think of is that the UI has been streamlined a lot. I like the menus, I guess. The gameplay feels solid, to be fair. The gameplay is, you know, it's Destiny 1. It's solid, it's crisp, it's Bungie gameplay. It's good gameplay, and I hope the raids are good. I don't know. The story is an improvement over Destiny 1, but that's not really that much of an improvement, given that it's an improvement over one of the worst stories ever crafted. Ever. Not one of the best lore. It was one of the best lores crafted, but one of the worst stories ever told. You know, I like the fact that you can put shaders on shit. I like the fact that you can put shaders on individual pieces of armor. I like the fact that you can put shaders on guns. I like the fact that you can put shaders on ships, on sparrows, but that's about it. I mean, it's not looking good, fam. It's not looking good. But I'm gonna keep an open mind, and hopefully Destiny 2 will surprise me. Hopefully it'll come out and I'll play it and it'll be blown away. But I'm not holding my breath. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the Destiny 2 beta. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm going to go ahead and end the video there. So thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Please be sure to leave a like and be sure to subscribe if you did. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.